So this is Castro Bashes Canada by Jessica Murphy, Parliamentary Bureau, Ottawa. Fidel Castro, Cuba's ailing former dictator, has written an article in which he blasts Canada and Prime Minister Stephen Harper. In an article published Sunday by a Cuban news agency, the 85-year-old calls out Harper and Canada for not taking sides in the thorny issue of the Falklands Islands dispute. Castro also takes issue with Canadian mining activities in Latin America. But he's not just critical of mining in the southern hemisphere. He singles out the Yankees, quote-unquote, for having, quote-unquote, forced Canada to extract bitumen, bitumen, from Alberta's oil sands, causing irreparable damage to the environment of this beautiful and vast country. Castro also raised concerns over Canada's membership in the Organization of American States, noting Queen Elizabeth is our head of state and it's not clear whether Canada is a colony, a republic, or a monarchy. Castro did have kind words for brilliant and courageous late Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, who visited Cuba in the 1970s. The Prime Minister's office had no comment on Castro's rambling rant. Castro also appeared to be smarting over the fact the communist state is excluded from the upcoming Summit of the Americas in Colombia. In the meandering essay, he mocks the fact that U.S. President Barack Obama could wear a guayabera, a men's shirt worn in Latin America that Cuba claims as its own, to the summit. The curious thing about this, dear readers, is that Cuba has been forbidden to attend that meeting, but not the guayaberas, Castro wrote. Who could hold back from laughing? And now, some key things we have to point out. One, that Castro is talking about this beautiful and vast country. Right? He's from the Southlands. And he's saying that this is a beautiful, vast country. He didn't exclude himself and he didn't exclude anybody else. Why? Because he's indigenous to this land. Right? He's not going to say that out of his mouth, I'm indigenous.
But if he wasn't,
he wouldn't be making that claim. Yeah. Right?
So vast.
So vast. Right? Right? And don't forget that everybody's Moorish American.
Yeah.
That's why he said vast, because he's talking about the vast estate that the Prophet left for the Moors, that he knows about nationality and birthrights and all that. That's why they don't rep Fidel. I was starting to realize that people's stupidity is becoming more and more evident. It's becoming very clear who's stupid and who's sane, who you should talk to and who you should avoid at all costs. So, I don't know, sometime earlier today or something, 6 hours ago, James Bay on Facebook posted the question: if you are born in Canada and live in Canada, how can you be a Moorish American? Or would you be a Moorish Canadian? Now you can go to khalifamedia.com. Khalifamedia.com. Welcome to Canada.
Right? Because it's funny, you know, they're going to say America triple K and stuff, but not Canada triple K. Because they think up here is all, you know, everything's beautiful up here and there's no skinheads with swastikas tattooed on their titties up here. Right? They're up here too. They're up here too. And they know that they're Irish, Scottish, and all that BS. They know that they're not no damn Canadians. Right? They know this. Okay? So Sharif and El Bey, who you know as, you know, one of the heads of the Ali's Men's little club group or whatever. So he comes on there and he says, land is not the determining factor for nationality. Political community affiliation is. The Prophet Drew Ali is the founder of the Moorish Divine and National Movement and thus is the final word on such matters. No people are citizens, members of land. People are citizens, members of political communities called nations. So the term Moorish American, as termed, understood and used by the Prophet, meant American citizens by way of Moorish ancestry. American citizens by way of Moorish ancestry. While their nation and government operates on geographic American soil, Mexicans are citizens of Mexico, thus descendants of Moroccans born in America. Descendants of Moroccans born in Mexico would properly be Moorish Mexicans. The same would apply to Canada. So in the terms of Noble Drew Ali, Moorish American meant American citizens by way of Moorish ancestry. American citizens by way of Moorish ancestry. Now, if people are citizens of political communities called nations and cannot be citizens based on land, then you can't say that they're American citizens, first of all. Because American citizen implies America, which is land. Citizens by way of Moorish ancestry is because we are descendants of Moroccans, born in America, not born in North America or South America or Central America or the adjoining islands, born in America. Descendants of Moroccans born in America. So we're Moroccans. Moorish American was a term for dumbass people who were caught in Christianity in the 1920s. But we're Moroccans. That's why our flag is a Moroccan flag. The red flag of 5-point green star is a Moroccan flag. If we say Moorish, that means pertaining to something. Pertaining to what? Pertaining to Moroccans. Now, this is March 25th, 2011, 1530 Markham Road, Toronto, Ontario. Before His Worship Justice of the Peace I.S. Chandhoke. Case file number 4863991030160400. The Ontario Court of Justice. In the matter of the Provincial Offences Act, Her Majesty the Queen versus Kevin S. McCletchie. Now, Her Majesty the Queen is the head of Canada. Kevin McCletchie is a Canadian. So Her Majesty has jurisdiction over Kevin McCletchie because Kevin McCletchie is a Canadian And Canada is a private foreign corporation owned by the Queen. So anybody that calls themselves Canadian in Canada is classified as a ward of the Crown. This is not what we say, this is what Canada says. Just in case people want to keep playing this game like Moors are Canadian. Oh, excellent. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Hold on one second. So they have this setup letting the people know that Her Majesty the Queen versus Kevin McCletchie, because Kevin McCletchie is a Canadian, but Canada is a private foreign European corporation, and people cannot be citizens of corporations. People cannot be citizens of Walmart. So if people are telling you that your nationality is Moorish Walmartian, they're playing you out your birthrights. So what I wanted to do was, let's get somebody who's not even from here, right? Who was told about Canada, the land of opportunity and stuff like that, come over here, and then let's see how they identified it. Because, you know, you're not going to listen to your brothers and sisters here. Maybe you'll listen to the people who you claim, you know, brought you over here on a slave ship. They sold you in the gory slave stuff and brought you over here. All right, fine. We'll get one of those people to tell you about how they feel about Canada, what Canada is to them, and what their nationality is, and we'll see if, you know, this stresses the point. Right? To the people who like comments made by clowns who wear feathers and turbans and try to pretend like they're somebody in the Moorish movement, when years ago they abandoned the Great Seal and started doing all this BS that you see that's going around today, that outside people are looking at the Moorish thing, laughing at, ha, look at the Moors, they don't got their shit together or whatever. Those are the cuff boys. Those aren't the legit Moors. That's the Moors who were the infiltrators that you're supposed to be looking at them and laughing at them. But back to Canada. Islam more. Islam.
Like, you're not going to come up to me and try to harass me or muscle me or anything to intimidate me. I know my indigenous rights, okay? And you're saying you're from Canada? Canada is a corporation on a piece of paper. If that's where you're from, that's where your parents are from. You know what I mean? That makes you what? Like you just manifested out of nowhere? Like, what nationality is Canada? You feel what I'm saying? So, anyways.
Why are you stalking me? I'm with my son. Why are you stalking me?
You're driving a motor vehicle. You're currently suspended.
Suspended from what?
Driving.
Driving what?
A motor vehicle.
A conveyance? What's going on with my constitution?
Your constitution.
Huh? What's going on with my constitution rights? Leave me alone. Stop harassing me. Police Officer Lambie, again, can I ask you why you're following me around? What? You just happened to see me from my conveyance. You just happened to see me?
I happened to see you driving that vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah? How did you see me? Where did you see me from?
Sorry?
Where did you see me from?
Grenoble and Grenoble.
Grenoble? How many? You were behind me? Were you behind me? At what point? You were directly behind me?
No.
No? How many cars were you far back behind me? Huh? Peace Officer Lambie, answer. Daryl, why don't you answer the question? Huh? Peace Officer Lambie, why don't you answer the question? Don't touch, don't. Why don't you answer the question? Why are you following me around, harassing me? Huh?
I'm not harassing.
You're not harassing me. This is not harassment. Who gave you the authority to come follow me around? Regina? The queen? Your fake ass queen? Who told you? Huh? Who hired you? Who hired you? The Attorney General? Excuse me?
Police Service Board here.
Incorporated, a private corporation. What does that have to do with indigenous people and their rights? What? Can I ask you a question, Lambie? What's your background?
My background, I don't know what you mean.
Your parents, where they from?
Canada.
Canada? Canada. How's Canada a place you come from a place on paper, a corporation? This is America, my friend. This is not Canada. Get it right.
So let me just read the question to you, because somebody put the question on Facebook, and we just wanted to get the perspective from somebody who is Moorish American but isn't from this side Morocco, to see get where your perspective is. So the question is, if you are born in Canada and live in Canada, how can you be Moorish American, or would you be Moorish Canadian?
Yeah, that's an oxymoron. Moorish Canadian, all that stuff is oxymoron. Those things can't coexist. You know what I mean? To be a citizen, that means you're just a piece of paper. You know what I mean? Like, to the birth certificate fraud that we already know about, you're just fictitious on paper.
No, but when not.
You're emotionalist. That's why it's really to have you under control and to know your nationality and know that you're not Canadian, quote unquote Canadian, is to have a power within yourself that a lot of people don't want it. Like, as much as we could sit here and tell these people about their nationality, a lot of them are not ready to take control. They still want Jesus to drive the ship for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, it's sad to say, but it is what it is. Well, I mean, many are called, but few have chosen. You know what I mean? You have to choose this. You know what I mean?
Right. No. Okay. So, on this note too, what you said before, about the birth certificate and the individual being on paper. Now, how did, because you're coming from a different perspective because of your national origin not being on this side. So how did the birth certificate apply to you with the name? Because sometimes they'll say, well, you have an African name, so you don't have to do anything. You could just be.
No,
right.
Because the same fraud that is being run over here is being run over there. Remember, these guys are under the same fucking monarchy. Like, stop this nonsense. Like, people should have common sense. The same fraud is being run. When those guys sat down and divided up the land, you know what I mean? Leopold and whoever divided it up and called it what it is, that you know it as quote unquote Africa, which I don't subscribe to it at all. But yeah, when they did that, you know what I mean? Like, they ran the same fraud. They're all running the same fraud. So I never even seen my birth certificate. That's the blessings about it, because I could actually anybody could ask me and be like, yo, you have a birth certificate? But I've never seen one. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, literally. So, and mine got lost while my family was in transition and mine was incarcerated, you know? So I never when I came to the information, everything was I didn't have to really do anything. Like, I don't know, they could ask me any question about, even the whole driver's license thing, like, I had one when I was like 16, but then I got incarcerated for like over 7 years. And on paper, again, goes back to the whole corporation thing. If a business is like, if something has been inactive for a period of more than 7 years, naturally, it's the business, whatever business is done. First of all, you know what I mean?
Right. It's dissolved.
So like those are things that people don't. It's hard for people to understand. Like it's all paperwork. It's witchcraft on paper. It's all spelling words. It's all spelled, and that's what it is. Again, it goes back to people like just even to present their nationality card. You know, like me for myself, like I just forget sometimes to use it for the tax exemption, but I use it when it comes to the factor approaching me. I know exactly. I pop it on. I pop it on them like it's a badge. To tell you the truth.
So are you subscribing to your nationality being Moorish Canadian?
No, God. No, that's an oxymoron. Like Canada was the other day. They're quote unquote cities, district within Canada, quote unquote Canada, older than Canada. Like, let's stop this
I know you get.
Yeah, I'm not getting caught up, but I don't know. I think, like I said, a lot of people's lifestyle, you have to make adjustments to your lifestyle when you get nationalized. And again, I just feel like people in general are just who they are. Like you can lead them to like it's been said, you can lead a horse to a well, you can't force them to drink. Like
Straight.
well, so it's like, yeah, you're not gonna drink. I'm good. More for me, that's cool. That's how you want to. That's how you want to live your life. That's good for you. Like I'm good. You know what I mean? Like coasting here. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
So like we don't get caught up in all that nonsense, but it's like something along the way had to resonate with you. That something was up even when you came into the science. And if you never before we came into the science, I mean, and once you come into the science, everything should just click. And if it doesn't click for you, and if it does click for you, but you just scared, because straight up and down for some people, they know it clicks, but it's just the fear.
Right,
I've met more like that. I understand. It's okay. Like, it is what it is. Maybe it's better you just, stay in the corporate role, because you might
like hurt yourself.
Stay in your lane, like the homie would say. Stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Well, it is what it is,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Straight up. All right, more. Well, I know you have your family stuff to do with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Hail up to the boys. Hail up to the boys and the Empress, and we'll build.
Alright, guys.
All right, fam. Islam, give time.
All right. Peace, Morris.
So he's not even from here. And he knows. He has enough common sense to know, well, if I'm in land that's not my own, the wisest thing is to get with the Aboriginal indigenous people, because if anybody knows what's going on, it's them. Got with the Moors, declared his nationality. Remember, he has a name from over there. Over here, he's Bay. Went to court, put all the videos online. Canaanland Moors, my name is my name. Go watch them. Right? Puts everything out there, so everybody knows. But, remember, he beat his case dismissed and all that stuff, These guys want an example of a Moor that went to court and won using nationality card. Well, yeah, there's one. Like, Moorish American. Okay? So again, Queen has jurisdiction over her quote-unquote Canadians, which are property. Canada is part of North America. The country within North America is Mexico and Morocco. We know that this is Morocco because we know Washita history, because there's mounds out here. And everybody knows the ancient mound builders were the Olmecs, who were the Washita, who were the Moors. So y'all fool us about we're some Canadian who started in 1867. How are we Aboriginal indigenous people, but we're calling ourselves something from 1867? And then Moors are back in that position. Moors are back in the position of the thing that started in 1867, we're going to go with that's what the identity of these people in that jurisdiction should be. When Canada comes from Canandaigua. There's Canandaigua, Canaan, K-A-N-A-N, Canaan. What's that? Canaan. Algonquin. There's Canandaigua, New York, Canandaigua Lake. There's Canandaigua in Northwestern Territories. So we know that that name of Canaan was out here. If Canandaigua is a name that's Aboriginal and Indigenous out here, And when you look at where did the name Canada comes from, Canandigua comes up as one of the names. Then up here's Canaan. Okay, if up here is Canaan, then clearly it's not Canada if up here is Canaan. But nah, they don't want to go with what Noble Drew Ali said. That we're the ancient Canaanites. They don't want to go with that. They want to go with their wards of the British Crown. And you're telling me that these aren't dirty Moors? When they're trying to take all the Moors in Canaanland and put them under the jurisdiction of the Queen by calling them Moorish Canadian. Do you really get what's being revealed in this time of the great revealing? Because the eclipse is a magnifying glass and you can't hide. You can't hide. Because it's the Aquarian age. Like, everything's coming out. Like, you can't hide. You can't lie and tell people that. People are going to use their common sense. Hold on a second. Canada's a corporation. Canada's Walmart. Can't be a Walmartian. I can't. It's just not possible. I don't care what you put in front of it. Moorish, Hebrew, ancient Egyptian, Kemetic, whatever. You can't be a Walmartian. You can't be that. And we're showing you in their records. Right? Because the story's still going. We're not done. To get you to understand that they know what the difference is. But you have to be the one to articulate that difference. Remember, this is their records. This is not Moor's stuff. This is Canada's stuff right here. This is Canada's documentation that they know. It ain't no Moorish Canadian. But you're going to list some dirty Moors. Even corporate Canada knows Moorish American. We just put the clip on TV. We just showed you the clip. They didn't say Noble Drew Ali said that they're Moorish Canadian. That's the news out here. That's why we put it up. Because that's the news. All those cameras that you saw was every news station that was out, that's out here. Everybody covered it. These people don't want to be Moors still?
Faith was founded by this man, Noble Drew Ali, in 1913. Its main belief is that they are African Americans descended from North African Muslims, known as the Moors.
Why would they cover it? Why would they think it's interesting to cover Moors? Because they had heard about Moors in ever. Out here, that's news. I don't know where you're at. Where we're at, that's news. Factual news. Because this is not something out of some storybook, history book in the University of Toronto, University of Ottawa, McMaster or some BS. This is in their face, standing in front of them with a fez on. And these individuals are going to take every single Moorish American in the jurisdiction of Canaanland and sell them out to the Queen. And you're telling me that they're not dirty? They're not dirty. The people who took your name, gave you some other name, they're dirty. They're slave master and all that stuff. Okay. Your name's Moorish American. These guys took your name, Moorish American, give you a name, Moorish Canadian, that's putting you under the jurisdiction of the Queen, and you really don't think that there's a problem with that? For all the liker people on those comments. For all the people back in that position about Moorish Canadian. Right? So remember, the Queen, Her Majesty, the Queen, owns the Canadians. Anybody who says that they're Canadian, they're property of the Queen, known as a ward of the Crown. The Crown means the Queen. ward of the Queen. If they said that, people would know what the hell's going on and they wouldn't be Canadian. Now at the bottom here, they say Mr. Cujo Arroel, ex-relation Kevin McCletchy. Now why would they put ex-relation on their stuff? Why would they distinguish between Cujo Arroel and Kevin McCletchy if there's not a difference between Moorish American and Moorish Canadian? Remember, this is their stuff. This is not Moorish documentation. There's the number. You can go check, call them up or whatever like that. Get your own copy. So you can see that these people are agents working for the other side, trying to sell out your birthright, like they've been doing. They just see that, you know, there's fresh meat in Canaanland. There's stupid Moors out here too, who just want to be free so bad that they're going to pay $5,000. There's stupid Moors everywhere, right? Why would they say ex-relation? And make sure you go look up ex-relation, so you can shove it in these people's face. And when they say a Moor went to court and here, there's the number, so you can prove a Moor went to court, put his status on the record, and the record acknowledges the status that was put on the record. How come they didn't just put appearances by Kevin McCletchy down there, like they always do with every Negro, black, colored, whoever else that goes to court? Why? And then how come, if this is the Queen versus a Moorish Canadian, how come throughout the transcript, all they're showing throughout the whole transcript is Mr. Cujo Arroel, which is a Moorish American, not a Moorish Canadian? It should be saying Kevin McCletchy through all these papers. All these pages should be saying Kevin McCletchy on them, not Cujo. Why would it say Cujo if Cujo's not the one who the Queen is versus? If the Queen is versus Kevin McCletchy, right? If the Queen is versus that entity, then that entity should be the one that's listed in the transcripts. But why are they not listing? Why are they not listing Kevin McCletchy ever? Because status was put on the record. First issue, status. And the status is Moorish American, not Moorish Canadian. So you can listen to people who pretend to be stuff and get knocked out and stuff like that. Or you can get with people who be what they know. You can get down with the people who are, in the name of the Moors, we're gonna have pedophile supreme grand sheiks, you know, in our corner and stuff like that. You're gonna ride with that. The Moors that are doing good, you're talking BS. Moors that are right, you got something to say. But the Moors that are doing wayward stuff that has other people looking at the Moors like, oh, look at the Moors or whatever, you're not saying nothing about them dirty people. You're just gonna join in the dirtiness. Well, take clear note that Moors who are affiliated with Canaanland, Moors that are affiliated with Canaanland, we've been in our lane of Great Seal, Moors Order of the Round Table, RV Bay Publications, Washita, etc. We've been in our lane and give honors where we think honors are due. Yeah? Anybody who says they're Moorish leaders getting honors from Canaanland. Because we know you Moors are dirty. We have all the records to show. We have your stupid messages on Facebook trying to prove that you're somebody when you're not even out here. What you know about Moorish anything in Canaanland? And you're not even here.
This is a divine group of beings. Indigenous, Moorish American, natural beings. That's who we are, right? This is a divine group of beings. Indigenous, Moorish American, natural beings. That's who we are, right? This is a divine group of beings. indigenous Moorish American natural beings. That's who we are, right? This is a divine group of beings, indigenous Moorish American natural beings. That's who we are, right?
The Moorish Americans have 30 members here in Toronto. The Moorish Americans have 30 members here in Toronto. The Moorish Americans have 30 members here in Toronto.